What happens when a group of paranormal investigators start a conversation? You get Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. Tales of the dead, the bizarre, and all things supernatural. Join us now as we ask the question, are we living in a simulation? Hi, and welcome back to Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. I'm Erin.
I'm Lydia.
I'm Deborah.
And today we are going to find out if we are real or not and living in a simulation. Ow!
She's real.
Oh, gosh. So living in a simulation. Am I real, though, or was that just computer generated?
No, because I'm real.
Ooh. So before we get into it, then, I take it you're the skeptic of this episode.
I'm the skeptic.
I think she's going to be a tough cookie for you tonight.
I think she is, and I don't know that I can necessarily crack that cookie. So have y'all ever been in a situation where things just seem to fall together just a little too well, almost as if you've had someone watching or listening to you?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm actually the opposite of that.
So
Everything always goes wrong. If it can, it will.
Isn't it Newton's law?
I don't know.
Anyway, have you ever seen a movie called The Truman Show?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
No?
The Truman
The
Show?
Jim
Truman
Carrey?
Show, yes.
I'm not a Jim Carrey
Oh,
fan.
girl, you got to watch that movie, though. That's like a good movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's good and it's weird. So
See, I can't. When I sit down to watch something, if it does not pique my interest with, I will give it to you in minutes.
Oh, it's a good movie.
it might
Then
pique
I
your
can't.
interest after this episode.
Mm-mm.
So today we're going to discuss the simulation theory. Have y'all ever heard of this theory before?
I did
I
not.
have
until You
not.
said. You got us on a fresh one.
Yes. So yes, we are going down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole
I
tonight.
like those.
So essentially the idea of a simulation theory is that we are all cogs or players in some sort of simulated life. Very much like a video game. So some of us in this life would be considered NPCs or non-playable characters or background characters. Simply just filler. So that could go to mean that those that we see at the grocery store or out in public, other places that you don't interact with, are they real or are they just simply there as filler for your life?
That would be an awful lot of Facebook profiles to make up.
It would be. So as I mentioned, Truman Show and Free Guy. Those are two movies that, well, I didn't mention Free Guy, but 10 out of 10. Truman Show, those are two movies that kind of discuss the simulation
What about The
theory.
Matrix?
The Matrix. I didn't think of The Matrix when I was
I almost
when I was
watched it
typing
today
this.
for good measures, but I didn't have time.
I watched it once, and I'm not a fan of it.
No, I don't really.
That
like
has
series.
been coming up on my recommended watch list over the last week.
Really
Mm-hmm.
weird.
Connected. So the Truman Show essentially is about a man who was born into a simulated world. He has no idea he is part of the simulated world. Everybody around him interacts with him just like you or I interact. And things kind of spiral for him. And you will have to watch it.
So he's like a TV show where everybody's
Yeah.
watching and interacting with him at the same time, and he doesn't know that he's part of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a good movie.
So, the theory itself was formed by a man named Nick Bostrom, And he says, quote, many works of science fiction, as well as some forecasts by serious technologists and futurologists, predict that enormous amounts of computing power will be available in the future. So let us suppose that for a moment that these predictions are correct. One thing that later generations might do with that super powerful computer is run detailed simulations of the forebears or of people like their forebears. Because these simulated people are conscious, as they would be if simulations were sufficiently fine-grained, and if a certain certain quite widely accepted position in the philosophy of mind is correct, then it would be the case that the vast majority of minds like ours do not belong to the original race, but rather to people simulated by the advanced descendants of that original race. So his conclusion goes to follow, quote, it is then possible to argue that if this were the case, we would be rational to think that we are likely among simulated minds rather than among the original biological ones, end quote. That was a run-on sentence.
That was a lot.
Well, so that being said, what if, going by what he says, in the future, these computers will become super powerful, okay? So what if then that begs the question of how do we know that we don't we already know our technology is pretty advanced. Like, we already know that we are able to, send data from one computer to 50 satellites up in space and back.
Mm-hmm.
So what's to say that those aren't simulations? Like those aren't, that we aren't the computer. Because he did say that eventually the computers will become so fast and so powerful that we would not be able to tell the difference between reality and simulation. I feel like, what's funny, on a side note, I feel like you are so skeptical on this one. I feel like I have to be on debate team and be like, this is why.
So then you don't want me to say what one of his skeptics say?
It's throwing me off a little bit. So
I'm just absorbing what you're saying.
Oh, God. Oh, here comes Blanche. So this theory,
she's just a simulation.
She is. She's not real. Dated back to like Plato, 600 AD or something like that, very long time ago. Also dated back to, and I'm going to butcher this name, but Zhuangzi from ancient China.
I thought you started saying from Einer.
Oh, Lord. So, Zhuangzi from Einer, from ancient China, has a theory of the butterfly dream. So essentially that theory is, what if dreams are not simply memories, or as we
dreams before.
Yeah, as we had discussed before, the dreams are memory, past life experiences, I think is what we've concluded.
Well,
Deja
why would we
vu.
have dreams though if we're not real then?
Well, it's suggested that dreams are actually another version of simulation.
So they just want to screw with us.
Pretty much.
I need to be recalled.
You need to go to the research.
I'm broken.
So the story goes, and this is on Wikipedia. So once Zhuang Zhou, we're going to call him ZZ because I can't say that name each time. Once ZZ dreamed he was a butterfly flitting and fluttering about, happy with himself and doing as he pleased. He didn't know that he was ZZ. Suddenly he woke up and there he was, solid and unmistakable ZZ. But he didn't know if he was ZZ who had dreamed he was a butterfly or a butterfly dreaming that he was ZZ. Between ZZ and the butterfly, there must be some distinction. This is called the transformation of things. So, essentially, he's saying that what is what? So, like, are you really a butterfly dreaming that you're a man, or are you a man dreaming that you're a butterfly? I have never dreamed that I was a butterfly, and I think it would be kind of weird to do so. Another part of the theory comes from the Indian philosophy of Maya, or Maya, which essentially just means magic or illusion. Ancient Greek philosophy likened existing things to a scene painting and supposed them to resemble the impressions experienced in sleep or madness. So there's another one that kind of associated simulation with dreams. The Aztec philosophical text theorized that the world was a painting or a book written by Teotl, which essentially means God. So that being said, and I really don't know if this is real or not. There's no way to prove it. There's no way to disprove it. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said there's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I read somewhere. I think actually I have it here. Do we live in a simulation? Chances are about 50-50.
Yeah.
This is a Scientific American.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 50-50. So just posing the question, what if we are in a simulation, but the God to us, because if you think about it, there's all religions have some sort of God, right? Higher being, but they all tell you like what to, they lay out rules for you, right? So what if the rules, we'll take the Bible for example, what if the rules are simply just our code, the way that life was based around? And what if God, as we know, is simply just a more supreme race of intelligent beings controlling our universe?
So that's where I'm going to bring in one of his skeptics, so you can kind of just flip flop it, right? So
you can hear both sides of the story.
Physicist Frank Walczek maybe has argued that there's too much wasted complexity in our universe for it to be simulated. Building complexity requires energy and time. Why would a conscious, intelligent designer of realities waste so many resources into making our world more complex than it needs to be?
I can see that. I mean, it really can. My mind can go either way with it. But I think that what if the complexities, because we know there can't just be one main character. Like, it's not going to be like the Truman Show. It's going to be comprised of multiple, video game, for example. If we are in simulation, if we're in a video game, there's going to be multiple players playing that game. Say it's like an online GTA or whatever.
It's like Minecraft and everybody's
multiple players. But what if we are just simply made up of the characters that these people playing chose, just like we do with video games?
I don't know, but what about like people getting cancer? I mean, bad things that happen to children. Like, you know,
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like we have a video game called Sims, where it's the same type of idea. We are building this simulated life for our character, for our family or whatever. And things happen in that game that tend to happen in real life.
like what I've not played. Well, I think I played it in like the 90s when
When it first came
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So you haven't played like Sims 25 or something like that? I haven't played it in a long time either. But like your characters can die no matter what age they are. Your characters
Right,
can.
but do they make them die of like pain and suffering? You know what I mean? Like
I don't know if they.
the character just dying off and watching a character tragically go through, chemotherapy and radiation, or
Let's see.
I think like this world's like too cruel and out of control.
So in Sims world, characters can die of. They can die of natural causes, so being brought on by reaching the end of the elder life, accidents, player neglect, and through deliberate player choices. While most causes of death are realistic, there are a few fictional causes as well. And in Sims, you can also come back as a ghost. But not just the people in Sims die.
Like if somebody's controlling this, they're really disturbed individuals.
Yeah.
Sick,
For real.
psychotic.
You know
people.
what's funny is I have gotten myself so far into rabbit holes that I'm like, with this theory, just because it constantly just keeps going, that I'm like, wait a second. Well, this can't be right. This can't be right. But then here's this. And it's just constant back and forth shuffling.
So one of the things I saw on TikTok today, and I don't remember what the actual video was, but the comments, there was a comment that said that somebody believes, or people believe, that what's happening in this world is just to get us prepared for some horrible crap that's going on in the actual real life. So when you die here, you go to the real world to fight whatever this bad thing is that's coming.
Oh.
I didn't about that.
I didn't see that
I'll find it and I'll send it to you. Or
oh my
just
gosh.
put in
Okay.
simulation theory into TikTok and the videos.
Okay, so yeah, no, I can see that. Because I've often wondered, okay, so what if we've heard the term hell on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So what if there was a veil, right? You have earth, and there is a thin veil, there's a veil between us and the spirit world. So what if we always hear of like heaven being up in the clouds, but what if heaven is just on the other side of that veil? So and that's where we get ghosts and stuff from. So we have like ghosts walking around on that other side of the veil while we're on this side living our life.
Well, that kind of sounds like some stuff we've touched before.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm jumping all over because it's a lot.
Some of the people were like, oh, great. Here people are thinking when they die, they're going to get to go to heaven, and now they got to go fight a battle.
Yeah, that's, I've thought about things like that. I've thought about things like that before, and it's a wild concept to think, okay, well, what if you have to go, this is preparation for the real world, or what if you have to go to,
I want to try something. Keep going.
What if you have to go, what if you have a teenager essentially playing you as a Sims character? You're like, nope. Nothing. Oh
Or
gosh.
this could simply be us living this life preparing for tribulation.
So
It might be.
I asked ChatGPT, I asked the AI if we're
Okay.
living in a simulation. It said, well, that's an intriguing question. The idea that we might be living in a simulation is a concept that has fascinated philosophers and scientists alike. While there is no definitive answer, it's an interesting thought experiment to explore. Some argue that if we are living in a simulation, it would explain certain phenomena or inconsistencies that we observe in our reality. Others believe that the idea is purely speculative and cannot be proven. Ultimately, whether we are living in a simulation or not, what matters most is how we make the most of our experiences and create a meaningful life for ourselves. Is there anything else you'd like to chat about?
Anything else? Well, that's another thing. AI has kind of taken over.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to check with.
AI has kind of taken over. There's all kinds of AI out there that are supposed to make our lives
Oh,
easier.
no, see, AI scares the crap out of me.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. But what if? What if we could be? What if we are AI, right? And they're introducing us to these AI so that we don't catch on to what they're doing. Like we don't like, oh well, okay, now we have these more intelligent robots to make our lives easier. So now we can stop questioning if we are in a simulation.
Yeah, but they can almost phase us out eventually if they keep letting us go on that train of thought. I mean, think about they just opened the first McDonald's that has no human employees.
That's terrifying. And
And
that's
I
where the
mean,
lab
Chat
grown.
GPT is going to probably replace a lot of people's jobs.
Yeah.
Like I was reading today too, somebody was asking about going to school for graphic design, and a graphic designer told them, "Don't bother, the career's dead. AI is going to take it all over with what they can do."
Um. Yeah. I don't know. It's. I enjoy this topic a lot, but it's one of those, I guess, that I'm just now learning about myself,
I got a question.
that I enjoy talking about or not talking about it and just thinking about it.
What intellect of a person would it have to be to come up with this kind of theory?
The philosophers, it's all
Yeah.
philosophers.
It's all
And philosophers are what?
robots. They're the robots.
So genius.
Yeah.
You know, there's a fine line. Albert
Between
Einstein
genius and crazy.
is the perfect example. Yes. You straddle that line. One foot's on this side and one foot's on this side.
Yeah. So don't dive all in is what you're saying.
No, don't put all your chicks in that one basket.
Um if y'all seen the movie Ready Player One,
Yes.
that was a good movie. Essentially they're all living in a simulation. But they're living in a simulation. They're humans, but everything is done online, much like the metaverse.
I mean, and look at Avatar too.
The movie?
Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah. Because he's in a chamber and yeah.
Look, it took everything I had within me to watch that old TV sitcom Third Rock from the Sun.
I
like
would
that
love
show.
I would love to be as an avatar. I think that would be cool. Um, so I went to Quora and searched up, the question, do we live in a computer simulation? And here are some answers that popped up. So this person says, quote, the problem I have with this idea is that it suggests that computers contain representations of a world such that simulated conscious beings in this world would have subjective experience of the world. The computer simulations of worlds actually represent what computer simulations of worlds actually represent are mathematical means to create output that humans interpret as worlds populated by conscious beings. There is no reason to assume that the computer interprets the output as human beings do. So, that person, and I will say there's a lot more people that don't believe in this theory than do. But okay, and it's all a big, I've realized that it's all just a big game of what if. So it's just me asking what if questions for an hour.
I was just going to say today, because I was listening to one of our episodes, I think we should throw in there what if as a shot. That's the second shot phrase.
Oh yeah. What if?
Drink.
We're gonna have a whole drink game.
We need to start bringing shot glasses and
so we like I had said, we have a lot of technology within our universe, right? But have y'all heard of nanotechnology?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I know they are currently working on some ways, the proverbial they are working on some ways to kind of be able to factor in this nanotechnology with human DNA to be able to replace or complete chromosomes that might be missing or malfunctioned. So what's to say that this nanotechnology cannot or isn't going to combine with our DNA and make us all coded?
They're not putting anything in me.
So they're playing God.
Playing God. Playing God.
Nope.
Okay, so I'm going to share a couple of weird experiences with you guys, and then we'll go from there. What's that?
I was waiting because you haven't done anything today. You're very quiet with your hands over there.
I know, because I'm very like...
You're scaring me. I had to do it for you.
Look, in my head...
She's scared of me tonight.
No, but in my head, I'm like...
Good job, Deborah.
I could go anywhere with this, but talking about it, it's difficult to talk about. Because there is a lot of like... It is one big what if. Okay. What if we read some things? So y'all can dissect them. All right, this is on Reddit. This is called, this user is No Power Over Me. And the title is, How the Hell Did This Happen? Quote, so my bathroom is connected to my room by my apartment. Before bed one night, I tried to go brush my teeth and I couldn't get in. I can't wrap my mind around how this happened, but the drawer was pulled out, blocking the door. There's no windows inside the bathroom. The drawer isn't loose or anything. In fact, it's kind of a pain to open sometimes. The way I got in was by unraveling a coat hanger, forming a twisty hook, and putting it through the crack in the door, pulling it shut. So, was that a spirit or was that a glitch?
My first thought was the ghost.
Ghost.
It's first face.
You're killing me tonight. Speak your mind, girl. Deborah said, this is bullshit. Shouldn't be talking about it.
Pretty much.
Okay, so this is from Anon457. This is called Girlfriend Glitch. Quote, not sure if this belongs here or in the paranormal subreddit, but here it goes. It's not my girlfriend, but my sister's girlfriend. A couple days ago, I went to a family event with my sister and her girlfriend. My sister and her girlfriend chose not to go. Well, when we got back and pulled into the driveway, I see the girlfriend walk around the side of the apartment building. Yet when we got inside, there's her girlfriend sitting in the living room. Edit. I'm sorry, I completely forgot to add this to the post. There was a back door in the apartment, but my sister claims that the door has swollen shut because of the weather and cannot be opened. I have no idea if this is true or not, but I have tried to open the door myself and could not get it open. Also, I did tell the girlfriend that I thought I had seen her outside, and she told me that she had not been outside at all that day. End quote.
That's one of those things where you can also just say there's somebody that looked like the girlfriend.
True. Okay. So, what if? Yeah, this is a hard episode. I mean, it's literally because it's one. This theory cannot be proven or disproven, and so it's hard to formulate into words what is trying to be conveyed.
Mhm.
So, okay, let's back up just a little bit and rewind all of that. What if, hey,
Drink up.
take a drink. God, they're going to get hammered tonight.
Nothing wrong with that.
Woo, it's a school night. But what if our past lives, our previous characters in a simulation, in a video game, right? And we have to, where we are currently is how far we've leveled up. And I'm using a video game as the main example, but it could be a number of things, not necessarily a video game. It could be just a computer program. But each time we level up, aka each time we have a life, then we might pass that wall in the computer program or pass that level in the video game, and we become more experienced, we learn more from each level.
But then, did this all start with the creation of time, or did this just drop somewhere and they put those ideas into our head? So, like, none of, like, maybe Plato didn't even really exist.
But
I think he did because we were told.
okay, if it started with the creation of time, I'm playing footsie with Deborah under the table.
Got some action here.
If it started with the creation of time, other than finding particles on Earth that have been found in space, there's no way to prove or disprove when exactly or how exactly we were created.
Well, I mean, there's theories for both of those too. Oh yeah, you can get lost.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, what's to say that the Big Bang, as we know it, wasn't just simply a computer program and we are programmed to think, oh, well, millions and millions of years ago, there was a Big Bang, and look, I'm on a roll now. I'm talking with my hands. I just needed a minute.
There's our errand.
Yeah, I just needed a minute. But what's to say if there was this Big Bang that we're not programmed to think, oh, well, because we're told this thing happened, we're not programmed to think, yes, there was a Big Bang millions and millions of years ago. That's what our brains are programmed to think.
Yeah, but that's not the only thing that they even believe.
That's not, well, I'm just using.
Like, I took my son on a field trip, and he went to a religious school at the time, and they wouldn't let them look at the dinosaur exhibits because that's not true. It didn't happen.
Well, dinosaurs did happen. At least
because the theory was the Big Bang theory that they were going with.
They were going with the 7 days.
They, you know,
Oh. I mean, it's well, and then too, you have to think. So we know that there's other universes out there, right? But have we had any actual proof? In all the time of space exploration, why haven't we been able to find another planet, at least, in our solar system or in our universe, that's able to sustain life?
They say Mars is.
You go live on Mars and
well,
tell me
that's
how
not
it
true
is.
because if the Vatican files have things about aliens, and wasn't there something recently that the government just confirmed it also? So if there's aliens, that's sustainable life. They can travel here.
We should be able to travel there. I want to meet an alien.
We probably can, and they just don't let us.
Yeah, there's a lot of secrets going on.
You think?
But okay, work with me for a minute.
Okay, we're working.
What if the computer software that is running our universe can only maintain one universe at a time? So one life support at a
Well,
time.
if we're a simulation, then there probably actually isn't any other universes, and they're just telling us that there is. It's part of our
Right.
preconceived notions.
Right. It's all part of our programming. And then so then there's a theory that kind of goes off of this theory that y'all have heard of Schrodinger's cat? No. So there's a scientist or psychologist or something, basically puts a cat in the box, right? Closes the lid. If there's a cat in there because you see him put the cat in the box, but is the cat alive or is the cat dead?
I'd have to see the cat.
Exactly. So what if, I'm going to get y'all with this one. So what if when you say we are the main characters of this life, right?
Okay.
If you are in a room, right? No windows, just walls. You cannot see the outside. Does it actually exist?
So this is kind of like does the tree make a noise if it falls in the woods and nobody's there?
Yeah. Does it?
Well, I hear stuff cracking outside all the time, so I'm gonna.
Well, you're there though. If you hear it, you're there.
Of course.
But I don't
I mean,
see it,
if
then
it
I
makes a
only hear
noise, if a tree falls and I'm standing there and it makes a noise, then it's gonna make a noise when it falls. If I'm not there, I'm just not there to hear it.
So is the outside
Same way with does a bear shit in the woods. Whether I'm standing there looking at him or not, yes, a bear
He's
shits
still gonna come
in the
sniffing
woods.
it later.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. I've swayed back and forth doing this. Well, okay, I believe this. I believe that we are, not necessarily that we are in some sort of simulation, but I believe there's something more. There's got to be something more to this.
There is.
Right. So do I necessarily think that I have some greasy teenager sitting on the computer figuring out, like, oh, I'm going to make her go to work every day? No. I mean, pimple face alien teenagers.
I just remember I have watched a movie that could go along with this.
Yeah.
A series of movies.
What was it?
Born Identity.
I don't know. I think this just kind of opens the door for me, at least, to kind of like what else are they not telling us?
I think there's stuff we're not told, but I don't think I buy the simulation thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think
weird.
I think life is just too weird for it to be some kind of planned Like, seriously, somebody's making some stupid bad choices.
Really bad, and I hurt too much to be a simulation.
Well, what if? I mean, but what if like it's literally just them playing around?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. There's all kinds of stuff that we're not being told, and it's sometimes it's fun to like think about this stuff, but I mean, it's scary too. And there's so many things that are put out for distractions that, and I've actually heard a theory. You know, the girl on the plane. Well, there was another one that happened. It was a male that happened to. But I don't know how true that one is. I saw a clip of it, but anyway, people are saying that that's part of a distraction to distract us with the humor that comes off of it. Because, you know, people are finding that shit funny. But it's to distract us from what's going on. It's like, hey, look at this hand while this hand's like picking your pocket.
That's why you don't need to watch world news.
No.
They talk about this over here to keep you from focusing on this over here.
Right.
Yep. Election coming, gas prices going back up again.
Everything's going up.
COVID's coming back.
Let's get into some experiences. All right, this is from BuzzFeed. 13 simulation is leaking stories from this month. Is actually kind of creepy. These are from May 2023. Number 1. Quote. One time I was standing at the top of the stairs talking to my mom down below. I dropped my phone, and as it was going down the stairs, it completely disappeared. There are no cracks or spaces it could have slipped into. There's a flush wall all the way down on both sides. My mom and I were mind blown. We couldn't find the phone anywhere. 2 days later, I was cleaning the upstairs hall, and there my phone was underneath my sister's dollhouse. There's no way that that could have happened. Absolutely impossible. My mom and I both saw the phone bounce down the stairs and poof, gone.
The child found it
and put it in her dollhouse.
But where did she might have found it? But where did it go? Where did it?
She might have been by the bottom, took it and hid it.
Well, wouldn't they have seen the hand?
Well, I don't know what the staircase looks like.
What does your staircase look like? We need to
pictures.
Know. Number 2, the time traveler. Quote. That's another thing. Do y'all believe in time travel?
I haven't really given it too much thought.
I do believe in time travel. That's one I do believe in. Can't tell you why, can't tell you how it happens, but I do believe in time travel. Quote, I think we saw a time traveler. So this happened about a week ago, but my memory is still pretty fresh. My boyfriend and I were in the car on the way to get dinner and chatting casually. Everything was normal. As we pulled up to a red light, somebody caught my attention. There was a guy, I'd say between 15 and 18 years old, walking on the sidewalk across the street. I noticed him because he looked like he was straight out of 2004. Baggy jeans, gray beanie, and a black t-shirt over a long-sleeve white shirt. I thought it was funny, figured it was some kind of skater, and pointed it out to my boyfriend, and made a joke about the guy being from the 2000s. These must be really young people. We both agreed he looked out of place, and that's when we started joking that he must be a time traveler. I said something like, he's probably thinking, whoa, dude, where am I? And as soon as I said it, the guy started to look around like he was confused. We were in the car and across a busy street from him. No way he heard us. We remarked that it was weird as we watched the guy look around confused for a few moments. Then we both looked away for no more than half a second. I don't remember why. We turned back and the guy was gone. At first we laughed and I thought it was funny, but the more we looked, the more we realized he had nowhere to go and he really just completely disappeared. I can't stress this enough. We barely looked away and had nowhere to go that we wouldn't be able to see him. We both freaked out and drove most of the rest of the way in silence while we thought about time travel. We haven't really talked about it since, but we agree that it was obviously really weird. End quote. For real this time.
I don't know. If this is going to be a time traveler, I think that would not be the year they become from.
Yeah, why would you? I mean, let me go from 2004 to 2023. Um, Number 3, quote, for about a week, I would wake up, look at the clock, and see it was 2 a.m. and go back to sleep. One of these nights, I woke up as usual and then noticed a green glow next to my ear. I turned my head to see what I can only describe as a giant light bright peg plugged into my pillow. Instead of being disturbed by it, I thought to myself, Craig, my brother, would think this is really cool. Then I fell asleep instantly. Next day, I went to my brother's apartment and remarked how tired he looked. He said, yeah, every night this week I woke up at 2 a.m. And then last night I swear I heard you calling my name. Shocked, I told him what I had experienced, and we wondered if for some reason we were having a psychic connection. He got out a pack of index cards, and we each took 10. One by one, we wrote numbers on them, held them up to discover 9 out of 10 matched. The last one I left blank and he drew a 0. Both indicated nothing. Then the spell was broken and it hasn't happened since.
I don't know if that would be proof of a simulation.
Yeah, it sounds just like a weird, like, astral projection. The duplicate dad. Quote, I had lots of insane glitch in the matrix moments when I was younger. One morning when I was getting ready for school, I went to go downstairs to get breakfast and passed by my parents' bedroom. The doorway was slightly ajar, and I peeked in to see my dad putting on his tie and getting ready for work. When I got downstairs to the kitchen, my dad was already there making toast. I was so confused. Our house was small and only had one staircase, and there's no way that he could have gotten to the kitchen without me seeing him. Really weird. End quote.
His parents had a friend.
Well, in that situation, he's probably done it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Walked by Dad's room, looked through the door, saw Dad standing there getting ready, putting his tie on, that he automatically knows what he's fixing to see when he walks by and sees it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Number 5, the shirts from another dimension. Quote, so this happened earlier this morning, but it's still on everyone's mind here. I was doing laundry and moving clothes from the washing machine to the dryer. While I was moving things over, I picked up my Optimus Prime t-shirt and put it in the dryer. Then one of my kids needed me in the kitchen, so I walked away. When I went back to the washing machine, I picked up the next item, and again, it was my Optimus Prime shirt. I figured I just mistook the first shirt or something and threw the shirt in there. A few items later, again, one of my kids needed something, so I walk away, and when I get back, I again pulled out the same Optimus Prime shirt from the washing machine, and I say out loud, what the hell, this is weird, and I throw it in the dryer. My oldest daughter walked in and asked what was going on, so I tell her, and she looks in the dryer and she says there were 3 of the shirts in there. It's impossible as I only own one. So I go to look in the dryer, and yes, indeed, there's 3 identical shirts, all wet as well. My daughter gets excited and calls my wife to take a look to confirm we're not crazy. My wife takes one look and also sees the 3 identical shirts, and she knows I only own one as she bought it for me. My wife says we should take a picture, and she walks out of the laundry room to get her phone. While she was getting her phone, there's a loud bang coming from the laundry room. We all quickly go back in there. Nothing seemed out of place or fallen, but my daughter looked in the dryer, and there's only one Optimus Prime shirt. We emptied the dryer, but at the end, there was only a single shirt. Still no idea what happened there, but all 3 of us saw the multiple shirts.
That was kind of interesting.
Right. Now you're seeing it.
But I don't know if I'm seeing it though. Like, and what? That would just be a glitch.
A glitch in the matrix.
But if it was a glitch, wouldn't he be glitching also?
Not necessarily. It would take less code to do surroundings than it would a human body. Because human body is so complex.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back into some experiences. So this is called The Intervention. Quote, so one time I was sitting at a traffic light at an intersection that was perpendicular to an off-ramp on a major highway, I-95, which is the devil himself.
Mm-hmm.
I was the newer driver and a light watcher. So as soon as the opposing traffic got to the yellow light, I would already be about to take my foot off the brake. Well, this time when I took my foot off the brake, something pushed against my chest and kind of pinned me to the seat, but not my seatbelt because it didn't get any tighter or stall like it does when you brake hard. I turned to the right and looked to the passenger who was in shock because I was so confused, but they yelled for me to go. When I turned my head straight to proceed, a car came literally flying like airborne across the intersection from the highway at lightning speed and crashed into an overgrown lot on the other side. I just burst into tears because WTF, I'm an atheist, so I don't really know what to think. End quote.
Somebody's grandma or mama was in the car with her.
Protecting them.
My kids are grown, but I will still catch myself throwing my arm out like that.
You do the original seatbelt?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the first thing I was thinking too.
The remote control clone. Quote, I was 16 at the time, and I had just gotten a new TV to put in my room so that I could use the Xbox on it. It came with one remote, so I remember specifically because I was very spacey and tended to lose things, so I wanted a second. They dealt with #squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cut to about 3 months later, I lost the remote. I sleep with it on my nightstand and don't remember moving it or dropping it or anything. But one day when I went to grab it, it just wasn't on my nightstand. I looked everywhere for that thing. It was driving me crazy until a few days later when I looked in between my bed and the wall. I'd already looked there. At least I thought so. And it was just there. I was elated until when I pulled the back of the bed out to actually grab it, two remotes fell. The exact same brand, same wear on the input select button. 2 numbers were rubbed off on both of them. And what really blew my mind is the batteries were the same mismatch Duracell, whatever brand it came with, and whatever brand it came with, turned the same amount. Okay. I think they told on themselves with this one because they were just like, I'm spacey.
And there you go. Not just that, but either they didn't have their contacts in or their glasses on, so there was 2 of everything.
Let us know. Do you wear prescription lenses? All right.
So now we have 2 stories that have multiple items. I don't know. Have you guys ever found multiple items that you're not supposed to have multiple items of?
No.
I can't say that I have. Although I have tried with money.
I'm still looking.
That works, let me know.
I'm still looking. All right. The audio premonition. Quote, mine happened quite recently, actually. I had just clocked out and gotten off work and had planned that day that my mom and I would hang out. I climbed into her car and everything was chill like usual when I began to hear a loud crashing noise, just like a car just got hit by another car, along with scraping and honking, doors being slammed. Of course, I say nothing of it because I didn't want to speak bad energy out like that, so I kept it. So what happens the next 30 minutes later, we have a hit and run happen. All the same noises I was hearing prior to the to it happening ended up also happening. Needless to say, I was definitely confused and floored. Sometimes I think about it and I feel like just because it even popped into my mind that I already put that energy out into the universe, so it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if I spoke it out or not. I suppose I could have mentioned it to stay vigilant or something, but I've never had this happen to me before, so I didn't really know how to approach it. End quote.
What do you think on that one?
I don't know. Some of these are definitely can be considered paranormal, not necessarily
Yeah.
simulations. We'll do one or two more. The Guardian Blip. Quote, I remember I was jumping on the bed as a toddler, like maybe 5 years old at the most. I did a crazy flip and was heading upside down, head first into the corner of the dresser next to the bed. Next thing I know, I'm just sitting on the floor, not hurt, don't remember landing at all. Apparently, I told my mom someone caught me, so I can't tell if this is a ghost slash guardian angel or a blip in the universe, but I'm always confused as to how it happened. Let's see. Somebody was catching you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for us, because we do so much investigating, I think more often than not, I'm going to think it was a spirit.
Well, okay. What if?
What if?
Oh, that's two back to back.
Hmm.
But what if these philosophers are having things like this happen, and instead of reaching for a more likely logical explanation, such as spirit, they're reaching to say, well, this is all controlled by some higher power. We're all in this simulation. All right, I'm going to do one more, and then whew, then we'll climb out of this rabbit hole. All right, so this is called The Expanding Woods. Quote, I've been walking the same paths in a wooded area for 7 years, and my cousins and their friends wanted to check the woods out at night. I was like, sure, whatever, I'll take them. So a group of 6 of us went to check it out. Everything was going fine up until a new path came into view. This wooded area isn't that big, and I've never seen this path before. So we decided, F it. We're here to explore, so let's explore. As we explore, we noticed that there was a pretty good sized body of muddy water. It hadn't rained in a few months, and at this point, it looked like it was a pond. We turned back to head to the connection point, and we decided we were done and to head back the exact route we came, which I kept note of. The problem is it was longer. Like the woods were extending the paths intentionally. I went back the next day and the path was gone, and it never extended an extra hour. It never extended that extra hour it took us to get back. End quote.
Were they drinking or smoking?
Okay.
Were they playing the shot game?
They might have been. They're like, we listened to Ghost
They
of
were
the
playing
Coast.
What If.
They're playing What If. There was a lot. Listen, we cannot be held responsible if you decided to take on this game.
Don't drink and drive.
Just do it from the comfort of your own home. 21 years. Look, I sound like I've been drinking. 21 years or older. So, what do y'all think?
Do you really want to know? This time I'm not buying it. I don't think so.
That's all right.
I think it's too crazy of everything we have to go through.
Yeah.
Like somebody be pretty sadistic.
There might be there's some weird.
Yeah, there's some sick, twisted people in this world, but yeah.
The question ain't about this world. The question's about the world outside the simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I believe aspects of it. Am I going to dive fully in and be like, oh my God, yes, you're not real, you're not real? I'm the only main character of this game. No.
Like, why we gotta go to doctor's appointments and stuff? Why we gotta go to the dentist and get our teeth
Why do we have to
cleaned?
get hungry and eat and gain weight?
I have no idea. Y'all let us know in the comments. Thank y'all for listening to me ramble for the past hour. This has been quite the episode. And I mean, ooh, what you got for us next week?
I'm going to do the cemetery in New
Oh,
Orleans.
yes, that's right. The cemetery in New Orleans. Ooh,
What's
haunted.
the name of the cemetery?
So I think there's a couple of them. I think it's St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis
But
Cemetery.
there's more than one. It's the cemetery where Marie Laveau was.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, all right. So that
Buried.
one will be good. There won't be a lot of what ifs in that one.
Yeah, there will.
St. Louis Cemetery number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all tune in next week because it'll be a very interesting episode.
We're going to learn about hoodoo voodoo.
Hoodoo. We still got some of that around here, don't we?
Mm-hmm. We do.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to tonight's episode. Let us know what you guys think. Do you believe in the simulation theory? Do you believe in bits and pieces of it? Are we real or not? Let us know. And until next time, y'all come back now, you hear?